Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's fine. Because other way testing is difficult because other side students are not allowed to speak directly here. Anyways, the students can use their chat box to have any queries. Lots of good evening, etc. are already visible here. So what I will do is that I will straight away try to share. I will share, yes, Microsoft Edge automatically optimize and this, okay.
So,
So I hope it's visible, sir, is it?
yeah, yeah.
On the presentation? Okay, fine. So now we are in a position to, I'm just sharing one window and then I can stop sharing also. That option is there. Okay, so what we have in this lecture is that I will put my video off because data consumption will be less for our students. That will help them because in the evening time bandwidth is a bit crowded. So getting quality video will be a little bit of problem due to low bandwidth. So I'm stopping my video right now for the time being, and this is visible. So let us start with this topic straight away. As sir already told, the syllabus which I'm going to do here is mostly environmental pollution. Okay, let me take that pen here. We will be taking this environmental pollution and then just minimize, yes. So we'll be taking that environmental pollution. Next we will try to take over in that environmental pollution, basically the noise pollution. I'm going to take that. Then after noise pollution, some solid waste related aspects, how solid waste is disturbing our environment, that will take. Next, there is another unit, social issues and environment. In that category, we'll discuss concept of sustainable development and energy utilization, conservation, sources of energy. Those things we will deal with. Renewable energy sources, non-renewable energy sources, energy conservation. These things we will do. Then comes your greenhouse effect and global warming, climate change, depletion of ozone layer, and acid rain. So these are the things that has been allotted to to me in these lectures. So straight away, without wasting any time, we will go there in the main topic. And I have chosen to teach you directly from the book because it helps us to stay connected and remain consistent. What I could have done is that somewhere else I could have taken some presentation, but right now better that we should stick with this book because that has been recommended to you for by the board itself. So we'll go with that. We will provide adequate explanations whenever required. So first of all, what is environmental pollution? So the term environmental pollution is a pronounced term nowadays. 50, 60 years ago, this term was not so much pronounced. Now from media to everyday life, environmental pollution has caught our attention. And most of the times it's the humans that has to blame for this environmental pollution. The world today is confronted with great problem of environmental degradation and pollution. So there are different kinds of pollution that has come into picture, like depletion of forest. Depletion means reduction in forest resources, population explosion, expanding industries, industrialization, unplanned urbanization, mining, soil erosion, etc., have created ecological imbalances. Ecological imbalances are, ecology has already been taught to you. Remember that if ecological imbalance is created, then lots of problems come into our environment. And mainly, the thing is economic development. For economic development, we have cut down trees, we have gone for industrialization, we have done urbanization. Urbanization means lot cities are expanding. That way means quest means uh, the desire for economic development has made all this population a growing problem, that environmental pollution a growing problem. So environmental pollution, definitely it started with increase of human population, and it continued to grow. And when industrialization took place, if you go and search a bit of history, then you will find that initially industries were less, but around 1400 1400 AD, from that time onwards, you had industrial revolution starting in England, and from that uh, time onwards, that 1400 it was Renaissance, and after that industrialization got uh, boost. And when it came around 1700 AD, by that time what happened was that lots of industries started taking up, and that resulted urbanization, growth of cities, transportation, lots of traffic started coming, vehicles started coming, railway networks were built, and agricultural practices were also enhanced with chemistry, chemical ingredients, and it all started in last 200 years ago, and now it is continuing with rapid progress. And we have to do such things also. We have to go for industrialization, because with growing population we need high food grains and items other items. So how can we produce those items? Definitely industrialization will be required, but at the other side, the cost is that environmental degradation is taking place due to that. And uh, in last few years, particularly you will see last 50 years, the the degradation has been very much fast. Water system, land, air, etc., everywhere the load of population has led to environmental pollution. So, but today the situation has been completely reversed. The rapid strides in technology and unprecedented population growth have depleted Earth's natural resources. One more thing that has happened is that natural resources have gone down and down. Coal, petroleum, they are decreasing day by day. And so the unchecked population growth and increasing demand consequently is putting lots of demand on the resource of our earth. And this also in turn is increasing environmental pollution. So what I can say is that environmental pollution in simple is related to population growth and the demand for rapid industrialization and urbanization, and these two things. So, and also highly materialistic we are nowadays, and we need lots of different materials, and we need a high quality lifestyle, and that has exploited the nature too high, and the degradation has arrived, the causing to environmental pollution. So first of all, what is pollution? Let us go to main definition. Pollution comes from Latin word pollutionem, meaning to make dirty. You remember in exam they will ask you questions. What is the term pollution? From where does it come? 1 mark short question. So remember this line I am showing in underline. Pollution is coming from this particular Latin word. Favorable alteration of our environment because of anthropogenic or human activities. Anthropogenic activities caused by human. So alteration means change, unfavorable change of our environment caused by human activities can be called as pollution. So pollution is an undesirable change in physical, you see the definition, physical, chemical and biological characteristics of air, water, may fully affect man, animal or any other living organism. Anything, even the bacteria or any other living organism. The pollution is just undesirable change that we do not want. For example, say we have carbon dioxide at a certain level in our atmosphere, but if that carbon dioxide is increasing, definitely it is undesirable because it leads to unwanted changes. In long run, it will create problem to us. So that is why pollution is undesirable change. Whatever the natural composition was there for, we have air, water, soil, if we are altering undesirably by human activities, then that is pollution in simple language. So what are the different types of pollution? You will see that the pollution is air pollution category. One is air pollution, water pollution and soil pollution. So depending upon which segments of the environment are affected. If air is affected, then it is air pollution. If water is affected, water pollution. If soil is affected, it's soil pollution. And according to the pollutant pollution can be classified like thermal pollution, pollution caused by pollutants. Yes, the thermal pollution caused by heat, noise pollution, radioactive pollution according to pollutant, solid waste pollution, oil pollution, industrial pollution, marine pollution. That way you can define. So here again, as we discuss about different types of pollution and this chapter environmental pollution, one student should remember that there is a word called contaminant and there is a word called pollutant. In exam they ask define or distinguish between uh, pollutant and contaminant. So first of all, what is pollutant? Pollutant is any substance present in nature greater than natural abundance due to human activities, which ultimately has a detrimental effect on the environment. So that is called pollutant. Any substance which comes in nature, but it is greater than its natural abundance. Whatever value it should be there in our environment, if it is more than that, then it is a pollutant. One example is that carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide. You know, sulfur dioxide, the formula is SO2. If you burn fossil fuels like petroleum, coal, etc., from there sulfur dioxide originates. This sulfur dioxide, uh, what happens is that this sulfur dioxide, it goes in our atmosphere, then it mixes with water and ultimately it leads to acid rain. So that is an example of pollutant. How arsenic is not there in our environment. Fluorides, they are not naturally there in our environment, but if we release them by our human activities, then they are all pollutant. Cadmium also, lead cadmium, they go in water by different industries and they are highly polluting because they lead to what death of fish and other cancer and other activities, other diseases occur if people consume cadmium related fish, etc. So these are example of pollutant. So that way, what is contaminant then? A substance which does not occur in nature but is introduced by human activities into the environment. Contaminant is also a pollutant. So fluorine from fluorofluorocarbons, food additives, paints, etc. is an example of contaminant. Contaminant does not occur in nature, and you see pollutant is something which is present in nature. So carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide are already present in nature. Arsenic and fluorides, they are to some extent, they are also present in nature. And lead cadmium also, they are although they have given examples of lead cadmium, etc., they are also present in trace elements in some cases in nature. But you will see that fluorine from chlorofluorocarbons. Chlorofluorocarbons are used in refrigerating machines, and from there fluorine originates. That fluorine is not directly there in nature. So this one is a contaminant, and it is also, of course, a kind of pollutant. But the difference is that it does not occur in nature. And that is the difference from contaminant. And they ask in exam what is primary pollutant and what is secondary pollutant. Primary pollutants are the pollutants. They are released directly from an identifiable source and exist such in the environment. So oxides of sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, hydrocarbons, they are example of primary pollutants. You can see from where they are released, say industry, vehicles, etc. And they exist such in the environment. Okay. Then comes secondary pollutants. What is secondary pollutant? You see, these pollutants are derived from primary pollutants by chemical reactions or by natural causes. So we release some primary pollutants in nature, or some primary pollutants are released from some sources in nature, and these primary pollutants uh, they undergo some chemical reactions, and under that situation what happens is that by that way they produce some other chemicals like hydrocarbons. Those who are not from science background, hydrocarbons are compounds like this methane is an example of CH4 is an example of hydrocarbon, methane, ethane, C2H6. These are known as hydrocarbons. They are compounds of carbon and hydrogen. So these hydrocarbons and nitrogen oxides, nitrogen can have different oxides like nitrogen dioxide, N2O, several types of nitrogen oxides are there. So these hydrocarbons and nitrogen oxides, they react in presence of sunlight to form peroxyacetyl nitrate, and that is a secondary pollutant. So in exam they give this is an example of secondary pollutant. In exam blank space they give. So you should be aware that peroxyacetyl nitrate, that name you will remember, although it is pen, it is not that pen number which we see. It's a short form of, in chemistry it is peroxyacetyl nitrate. It's an example of secondary pollutant. Now let us go and see the causes of environmental pollution. We have discussed pollutants, what is environmental pollution, then comes what? Causes of environmental pollution. So there are two types, one is natural, one is anthropogenic, that I already told. Natural means earthquake, volcanic eruption, excessive rainfall, landslides, storms, weathering of rocks. Weathering means destruction of rocks with or degradation of rocks with time. So this natural volcano, for example, volcano will release sulfur dioxide into atmosphere and different gases will come during volcanic eruption. So that is the thing. So both natural and anthropogenic activities are responsible for environmental pollution. But interestingly, the anthropogenic is activities are contributing in a disastrous way to our day-to-day change, that is day-to-day environment, degradation of environment and pollution. Anthropogenic human activities are doing more damage because not every day earthquake comes and volcanic eruption takes place in nature. So sometimes natural causes of course may also be more dangerous, but currently among the scientists this part is more discussed and more troublesome. So population increase, deforestation, industrial or man-made, automobile exhaust. Automobile means vehicles. So vehicle exhaust, air pollution, severe air pollution coming from that. Man-made or automobile, industrial or man-made automobile exhaust. Burning of fossil fuel. Fossil fuel are the fuels which are coming from fossils. For example, coal and petroleum. Coal and petroleum, they are known as fossil fuel. Petroleum. So coal and petroleum. Petroleum means petrol, diesel, kerosene, all these are byproducts of petroleum. So this burning of fossil fuel leads to production of um, pollutants. Okay, war, construction works. How construction work be polluting? If we do construction works, definitely we do destruction of environment. We cut down trees, and then lots of dust and other particles they go, and many other chemicals may be used during construction. So all these things will lead to pollution. So that is what anthropogenic activities are, and um, they are causing environmental pollution. Next part is that in my syllabus, the other pollutions are not given. So I will discuss the part which is allotted to me. First of all, I will discuss the noise pollution. So what is noise pollution? Noise is what we are always familiar. Whenever the teacher goes in class, then students are doing noise, and when teacher is not there, then there is also noise. So that is how we are familiar with the term called noise. And we have seen how much noise can be there during the festivals like Diwali, or in a marketplace. We are familiar with the aspect of noise. So noise is related with sound. It is also known as sound pollution. In some cases, it will be called sound pollution. Crowded cities, transportation systems, new mechanisms of recreation and entertainment. Crowded cities. If we go to cities, then so much vehicle and other things are there, and huge amount of noise. If even at our hometown Kokrajhar, if we go to the busiest places of Kokrajhar town, then the noise is there, the traffic and other things. So huge noise in that. And transportation systems, any traffic vehicles, their horns, their engine sounds, they are also sources of noise. New mechanisms of recreation and entertainment. So recreation and entertainment means any kind of what music, and then that boxes, huge amount of what loudspeakers. So they mechanisms of recreation and entertainment, they are also putting unwanted sounds in our atmosphere, are introducing different types of sounds to the environment, and people have begun to talk about ill effects of these sounds. A particular sound may be musical to one, but noise for another. Yes, in some cases, noise is called subjective. Subjective means one particular sound may be musical to one person, but noise for another. For example, you can take the simple example of something called rock music. That rock music may be a music for some person, but some other person who does not have taste for that, for him that music may be severely irritating, and it may be a noise also. That is the thing. But in overall language, a sound may be soft but noise when loud. A same sound, say a music is there, this music, when it is played at low volume, then it is a music. But when you put at high volume in a loudspeaker, then that music also nothing but it is noise. Music also becomes noise. Okay, so that is one thing. And remember, in this book there is a definition of noise pollution, but this definition is not correct. This definition from somewhere, using some copy from internet, I checked, and this definition is written, but that is not correct definition of noise pollution. You will see that they have written any unwanted electromagnetic signal that produces a displeasing effect and which interferes with human communication, comfort, and health is termed as noise pollution. No, because sound is a pressure wave. Remember, when we give pressure to our vocal cords, then my voice you can hear. When we give some kind of vibration to an object, say one table is there and you hammer it, then there will be production of vibrations, and these vibrations produce some kind of pressure change in air medium. There is a table here, you hammer this table, then what will happen? There will be vibration of this table. This vibration will lead to production of kind of pressure, pressure our air and here that by this definition that we put in book, that sound is an unwanted electromagnetic signal. That is not correct. Sound, any unwanted sound. Here, what I would like to change is that here you don't write electromagnetic signal. Instead of electromagnetic signal, okay, I will just erase a little and tell you how to correct it. This electromagnetic signal you will not write. You will write something, this word, any unwanted sound. Okay, on your screen, I hope it is visible. So this electromagnetic signal you replace by the word sound here. Any unwanted sound that produces a displeasing effect and which interferes with human communication, comfort, and health is known as noise pollution. That's it. Noise pollution is simply unwanted sound. You see that in the next line it becomes okay. I checked and I found that in somewhere in one internet source this is there, and when they have written the book, they have copied directly from that source. As a result, this error has remained. I even told Assam Higher Secondary Education Council, I wrote letter that they should change it, but they did not put any attention to it. And so it's our duty as a teacher to rectify the mistakes which board cannot rectify, but we will rectify. The correct things we should always learn. So unwanted sound dumped into the atmosphere, and that displeasing effect for our ear, as well as it is interfering with human communication. Whatever we communicate, suppose huge noise is there, you want to talk with from one person to another person, nobody will be able to hear if there is huge noise. So it interferes with human communication, comfort, as well as health. There is serious health effects of your sound pollution, comfort also. So that is what noise pollution is. Okay, no need to search Google, only just replace sound there and you will get the correct definition. Electromagnetic signal. Actually, in electromagnetic signal, what happens is that when you have an electromagnetic signal, that can interfere with communication systems. That electromagnetic signal is also a noise. Noise is also there in the chapters of communication systems. In physics and electronics, there is another noise in electronics. That noise they are trying to integrate here by mistake. So that noise is also electromagnetic signal and it interferes with communication systems in electronics. So that definition is fed here somewhere by mistake. And now, okay, noise pollution is unwanted sound dumped into the environment without regard to the adverse effect it may be. So unknowingly, we are dumping sound into the atmosphere. Huge sound we are putting, and then done. Problem we are creating. So any pollution, when you learn, not only this noise pollution, you remember to learn definition. Then you should learn cause. What causes that? Then you should at least know remedy. These things we should know. Remedy. How can you improve the scenario? Definition, cause, then also you should know impact. Impact, IMPACT, impact of that pollution. So these things students should know. He should know the impact of that pollution. He should also know the sources, definition, what causes that, the sources, then impact and remedial measures. So let us see the sources of noise pollution. Sources of noise pollution are two types. One is natural, one is man-made again. So what is natural? One, thunder. The thunder means if you have a cloud here and there is another cloud, clouds, water is called a polar molecule. So sometimes what happens is that during formation of clouds, there is one part of the cloud. Say this is cloud A and there is your cloud B. So one part of the cloud B, say this region is negatively charged and this is positively charged. Water is called polar molecule. But same polar molecules makes polar molecules and the dust particles in our atmosphere. These two things can make clouds charged. Okay, here. So they can make clouds charged. Okay, so this charged clouds, because of the polar molecule and atmospheric charges, charged particles, clouds may become charged. And what happens is that there is a transfer of charge at high voltage between these two clouds. And when such high voltage transfer of charge takes place, there is something called lightning is there of zigzag shape. Current flows from this cloud, say cloud A and B, there is a flow of current. And when such current flows at high voltage between these two clouds, there is a pressure difference created in the atmosphere, air. Air also starts vibrating with high amplitude, and that leads to this thunder. So whenever you see the lightning, along with the lightning, you hear a sound. So that is known as thunder. So in noise pollution, one of the component is natural one, that is thunder. But thunders are there only during that when our weather is such that weather is that way, then only you will hear thunder. But let us now go to man-made source. So man-made sources are what? Automobiles. So automobiles means transportation systems, truck, bus, scooters, fire extinguisher vehicles, police van, ambulance, train, aeroplane, industry, train, aeroplanes, etc. So from here you can see these are transportation systems. In bracket, up to this, all these are transport systems. Police van, truck, bus, scooter, train, aeroplane, they are all transport systems or traveling. Then come industries and factories. So industries and factories, they are another categories which create huge amount of noise. Industries, they have sirens for particular time. If you go to that in Kokrajhar itself, tea estates are there that at 6:30 they trigger alarm. So that alarm can be heard from here, from the Kokrajhar Government College itself. That alarm. Factories also, they, and inside industries and factories, lots of machines are going on and huge amount of noises there. People had to put headphones like that and work in the inside those industries in many times. Loudspeakers, then comes entertainment things. Loudspeakers, musical instruments, they are entertainment things. Sirens, blast of explosions, so these are also industrial activities, explosions, and they also produce unwanted sound. Then comes the festivals. Another category you see, festivals like Diwali and other festivals. So bursting of firecrackers, and in marriage parties also, nowadays in football, after football match also, there is a high decibel crackers are burnt. And anytime in such, nowadays it has become a little bit of fashion for such cases where an event is there, and after event high decibel crackers are burst into and creating a lots of noise. So this thing, the noise produced by crackers exceeds the permissible level. So what is the level? So during other festivals, people use different forms of noise producers. So now what is the level? So remember, noise is measured in terms of what? Decibel. One unit is there, DECIBEL. I will not go to the technical details of decibel, but decibel is the unit how you describe. Generally, what happens is that when we speak, it is like 50 to 60 decibel. When a truck is going, then it is at 80 decibel, 80 dB. This is the symbol, 50 to 60 decibel. When you whisper, then it is less than 50 decibel. So our normal conversation 50 decibel. Then 80 decibel a truck is going. When jet plane is coming, then it is your 120 decibel or more, that sound. So decibel, remember, is a logarithmic scale. Once you go from 1 to 10, 1 decibel to say from the decibel is a logarithmic scale. Logarithmic scale means say 1 to 100. The intensity relation is like that. Here, although you can see that 50 to 60 you are going, but 50 to 60 does not mean that your intensity of sound goes by 10 from 50 to 60. It is going in a logarithmic scale. So intensity of 1 decibel and 2 decibel, if we go to 1 decibel and 2 decibel, at least 10 square times, 100 times high. The 2 decibel sound as compared to 1 decibel sound, it around it is 100 times having more energy than the first one. That is how a technique in this decibel scale is coming. So but here I don't think that they have put that decibel scale. Yes, not given at all. So that is for extra information to you. Decibel scale, you can search yourself and study. This is interesting thing. I'm not going because it is typically physics thing, but at least they should have included a little for better information of students, that how much is the limit. So remember, 120 decibel is a limit. If our ears get sound exposed to more than 120 decibel, then definitely you are going to get a problem here. 120 decibel can damage glasses. They are jet planes and they are explosions, explosive sounds more than 120 decibel. They can damage glasses, and then they can damage our eardrum also. Now comes effects of noise pollution. So there are two kinds of effect. One is auditory, one is your non-auditory. Auditory effect is that impairing of hearing. What is the meaning of impairing? With time, our hearing loss happens. That so impairing of hearing takes place, and noise pollution reduces our capability to hear, and it may cause auditory fatigue and ultimately lead to deafness. So a person continuously exposed to noise pollution, the ability to hear sound is reduced, and auditory fatigue, the phenomena is known as auditory fatigue, and finally deafness may happen for that person. So that is a serious issue for or in terms of auditory effect. Non-auditory effect. Non-auditory means not directly related to our hearing. This is related to hearing. This is not related to our hearing. Non-auditory effect. Non-auditory effects are also equally serious. They include interference with speech communication. So one person is there and another person is there, and they are trying to communicate. And I don't know whether many of you have traveled in a train or not, or bus. So when you are traveling in train or bus, you will find that it is very difficult to communicate from one person to another. Even if they are near to you, when the train is running at full speed, you have to speak very loudly, then only you are able to hear. So whenever we are in a busy market, or whenever we are in a city traffic, then what happens? We have to shout at the top of our voice to each other, then only we can communicate. So that is how noise interferes with communication, and it is annoying for us, annoyance leading to ill temper. So whenever non-auditory effects are that interference with speech communication, which leads to ill-tempered, mental anxiety, mental stress, bickering, and violent behavior. So researchers have shown that people who are exposed to that high noise pollution, they have these kinds of problems also coming up unknowingly. In healthy people also, these problems are coming because of the side effects of non-auditory effects of sound pollution. Noise pollution affects human health, disrupts comfort and working efficiency. Excessive noise pollution causes psychological disorder also. All these things are in fact seen and analyzed by researchers, and people are definitely having problem with that. So this is about non-auditory effects. Now, how will you control? So that part I think directly not given in this book. How will you control this noise pollution? So for that, let me tell you 2 or 3 things. When you want to control noise pollution, we should be reducing the horn of automobiles by putting silencer. Engines, in the engines we can put silencer, so that the so what is noise pollution? You can see the definition which I have put. This definition is here: any unwanted sound that produces a displeasing effect which interferes with human communication, comfort and health is termed as noise pollution. Only electromagnetic signal you will replace by sound. Okay, that one question I can see in chat box. So that is what we'll take a 5 minutes and we'll discuss questions also. That for okay, first, so how can you control? That also you should remember. We should we can fit silencers in automobiles. We can reduce unwanted horns. Industries and factories we can put outside our human habitats, so that it is reduced, the noise is reduced. And loudspeakers, musical instruments, we can control our own loudspeakers definitely. If not there, then why should we arrange loudspeakers at full volume? We can control their volumes from our side. Most of the problems of uh, noise pollution can be controlled by suitable suitable desire of us. For example, in front of we can use some laws also. For example, in front of schools we should put no horn zone, no horn. In those cases we can have legal aspects also coming into picture. So noise pollution can be controlled. We can stop bursting firecrackers with high decibel capacity, so that can be very good to our environment. And in any cases, when in some cases people can try to reduce noise pollution, industries can also improve their technology to reduce their huge amount of pollution. Now comes pollution from solid waste. So what is solid waste? Solid waste, suppose we write on paper, and when paper is both side full, then you throw it away. So this paper is an example of solid waste. A plastic box which is not useful, that is a solid waste. And if you start counting day to day, then many solid waste are generated from our day-to-day life. Solid waste are all the waste produced by household, commercial, institutional, agricultural, mining, and industrial activities, which are discarded as useless or unwanted. You can go to college and you will see that the dustbins of the colleges are occupied with paper, polythene coating, and many such things which are thrown there in those dustbins. And our institution, say college itself, okay, have lots of solid waste generated every day due to different activities, and they are not useful for us. So, and to overall definition, after definition, that is the correct definition of solid waste is materials in the wrong place. That is what they are telling, materials at the wrong place, implying that a material becomes a waste only when a specific owner ceases to have a use for it. For example, say this paper both side we have written, now it is of no use, so that is a kind of waste for us, but that paper can be used for some other purpose. This plastic box, after it is we have used it, now this plastic box is no longer useful for us, then it is a waste, because the owner does not need it anymore. So with rapid urbanization, industrialization, and population growth, solid waste has become a serious threat in recent years. You take, suppose you have a TV, and this TV is not working now. It is completely gone. And now we do not, this TV is not in a repairing scenario, you cannot repair it, then what is this TV? This is also a solid waste. So such solid waste are becoming large in recent years, and situation is going to worsen in coming years if appropriate measures are not taken immediately. Dumping waste has two negative implications. Now the question is, where are we going to dispose this solid waste, this TV, this plastic box, this paper? Where? Solid waste, some of them may degrade with uh, environment, biodegradable, like paper. If we put it outside on a piece of land, then paper may degrade, but this plastic box, this TV will not degrade, rather it will cause soil pollution. So serious problem solid waste are. So dumping waste has two negative implications. Most of the times what is done is that wastes are dumped into open spaces, the places which are not useful for cultivation, and uh, near rivers and other places dumping is done. The municipality takes this waste and it does dumping. That has been the practice for years and years, but now this scenario is changing. People are thinking of sustainable development and they are trying to get something from this solid waste. So if we do dumping of this solid waste, it will produce air, water, and land pollution, resulting in diseases and destruction of human habitat. That is the thing. Yes, sir is giving probable question, the biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. Yes, let me. Hello. So, am I not audible, sir? I think I'm audible.
You are audible, but maybe some of the students might have some problem with the network.
Yes, sir.
You can
Being
carry.
that is why we here bandwidth is low at this time, so they may have some problem with the network because I have taken the microphone, additional microphone. Anyways, so dumping waste has two negative implications. One, that it produces that pollutes air, water, and land, resulting in disease and destruction of human habitat. While on the other hand, it deprives us of powerful resource material for producing energy. Okay, coming back to the solid waste, some of the solid waste can be utilized for generation of electricity also. Not only electricity, we can make fertilizers from some of the solid waste. It is possible. And by dumping, we are uh, not able to solve it. Rather, it is creating trouble. It is creating different kinds of pollution, and we are losing some resource material for producing energy, because for producing energy, electricity is produced from thermal energy like coal in our NTPC, and then hydroelectric power project. But we are this solid waste can be used for producing energy, electricity, manure. You see, manure is there. So commercially viable technology suited to deal. This is deal, DEAT. It is there. So deal with it should be rectified by a deal with the contents of the waste material, can put this double-edged weapon in service of human race. So what we need is that commercially fit technology. If we can make technology for generating um, generating electricity from solid waste. There are pilots projects, and some places such kind of things are also started commercially. Companies are trying, but a ready-made solution is still not materialized in many cities. Some and researches are also going on to get energy production by using solid waste. So this is a very prospect, and to reduce this waste we need some kind of technology by which we will be able to use this waste, not dumping. Okay, so the problem of solid waste management, how to manage this solid waste. So you in your class 11 you generally have a field survey at the end of this year, and in those field survey many aspects are covered. One aspect is your environmental pollution. Some of the departments uh, they conduct survey on noise pollution, some on solid waste management. In physics department we conducted solid waste management. We conducted on electronic waste like the TV and computer things, and we went and we made survey. Many people were not interested to give data because they thought that these things, how they used to do in improper way, they used to dispose these wastes. So The problem of solid waste management encompasses both urban and rural spheres. So urban area as well as rural area, both you will get solid waste. So these malaise, you see one problem here is that in this book, there are languages which are very high level words. Some of the words are not directly intelligible to average students. The malaise means here, it is a disease, you can say, or it is a bad, it's a this problem. In simple language, this problem needs to be looked into and considered urgently, lest it increases to uncontrolled proportion in near future. Increases means it will go beyond control in near future, threatening generations to come. So that is day-to-day management. Okay, of municipal solid waste is complex and costly task. Yes, of course, in our Kokrajhar town, you will see that there is a solid waste management system incorporated by municipality board, but that is also a complex and costly task. Direct activities must be considered and coordinated on daily basis that include generation rates, collection, storage, transfer and transport, processing and disposal of waste. So a effective strategy should be made in that cases. And management programs should be set up by the authorities, by government and the implementing agencies like municipality and others. So there should be financing. For financing is needed because somebody will collect that waste. How they will manage that? So initial financing individual and operation will be required. Equipment is also required and personnel and cost involved and budgeting, contact administration, or then ordinates and guidelines, public communications and public awareness. So these are the aspects that has to be considered while managing solid waste. There should be proper way. If we can do all this thing, then to a fair extent we can have a good management of solid waste. So effective. Okay, now how can we reduce solid waste? There these lines are coming. Effective refuse of the solid waste, determining a substitute technology towards recycling of solid waste with due consideration given to economic constraint and environmental aspects. So now recycling, yes. So whenever, say, this plastic box is there, this plastic box we can recycle to make another box. So in many cases, this recycling is feasible. And one example I would like to tell is that the bottles, plastic bottles, they are known as PET bottles, where 10 rupees we can buy water. Okay, fine. So this water which we buy, after that, in that bottle it is written crush the bottle after use. So we should crush that bottle, of course, and those crushed bottle, they can be recycled again. So that way we should not throw it here and there. That is a kind, again, a solid waste. So uh, give some effective ways of this. In exam they may ask you one or two questions like how we can easily manage solid waste. So these two things you remember: effective refuse of the solid waste, and second is that substitute technology we should need. So that is how you will be able to manage solid waste. And there is environmental environmental aspects. That is, the solid waste, they cause pollution. So what kind of pollution? It can degrade air, it can degrade water, as well as it can degrade soil. And health and environment, of course, they are also affected by improper handling of this solid waste. For example, if you take the workers, these workers, they pick up the solid waste and they use open hand, and during that open hand they will be taking many materials, metals, etc., lead, cadmium, those things will also go in their bodies. Simple. So it's skin contact with waste, solid waste. For example, say computer parts is there. In computer parts we have nickel, cadmium. So those, if we touch, then they can go through our porous body directly in our blood also. So that is the thing. And specific risks are there in handling waste from hospitals and clinics, because they are biomaterials. Say tissues are there. Then suppose we imagine that some operation is done and after that some tissues are cut. So those tissues in hospitals and clinics, somebody touches with hand, then bacterial infection and many complicated things can come. So what are the health risks of solid waste? So that also is included here. So the indirect main risk to health are indirect and arise from breathing of disease vectors. So if you go to a place where solid waste are dumped, you can easily go and see such places are there in Kokrajhar also, you will find, and you will see flies, rats, and many things. And and con- and this improper storage of solid waste can lead to conditions under which this risk will be very high. And now comes what? Burning. So to reduce solid waste, people may think burning. So burning, garbage burning, say. So if we burn garbage, then what will happen? Then there is air pollution. Looks like say plastic is there, and we try to get rid of plastic. Too much plastic is there, so we'll burn, but burning will produce air pollution, sulfur dioxide, then some kind of what chemicals, mainly organic phenols and other things are released from plastic if you burn, and those are serious ingredients of air pollution. So using water polluted by solid waste for bathing, then irrigation and drinking can also cause diseases. So if solid wastes are put in near water resources, then water used for irrigation or drinking, that water then also can cause skin infections and many other diseases. Okay, so we have 2 or 3 minutes left. I can take a little off there. We can, if any questions, etc., are there. So let me see. Only a few minutes remaining. So I will stop a little and I will try to see the chat box. Mm, so is there any questions? Okay, clearly audible. So probable question. What is landfill? Yes. So sir, thank you sir for your substitute things, because these substitute things will help the students, those who are attending this class. One most important thing is that for whenever I try to give my lecture, I try to give some of the things, which questions which may come in examination. So those things were told, and sir, what sir has done is that sir has tried to put supplementary questions. So what is landfill? Yes, those type of questions, they come. Night short non effects of solid waste on environment. So sir, only 1 minute is remaining, so I will. So what
Hello.
can be done, sir? Hello.
If you want to continue, you can continue for some more time, no problem. If
Yes,
the
sir.
students
Mm.
agree.
Yes, I
So, dear
think
students,
5 minutes.
dear
Mm.
students, would you like to continue for another 5 minutes?
We can conclude that a little, uh, for a little part is remaining for that. A little, not
Okay.
not
Okay.
much.
So we
We
can
can
continue for
come.
5 minutes. Okay,
Yes,
just
five
five
minutes, and
minutes.
we can.
Yeah. It is
Yes,
not
sir.
a
5 minutes, and we can
yeah,
conclude that, because
yeah.
this little bit of solid waste was remaining. Okay, I will just share, and 5 minutes we can complete that. So this thing, last part. And one other uh, environmental damage which is caused by solid waste is aesthetic ugliness. Yes. So street littering, anything is put and it is littering is there. Littering, yes, littering and other things. So this is also there. Ugliness of street littering, or solid plastics and other things are flying on streets. Very bad it looks. Destruction of beauty of the countryside by uncontrolled dumping of city waste. So that is another aesthetic. Aesthetic means beauty of city and urban rural space is destroyed by solid waste. So more serious, uh, one of the thing is that transfer of pollution to water bodies. As I told that if we dump near river, say we are dumping, then what will happen? That these materials will go to water, and uh, which causes when the leachate from a refuse dump enters surface water or groundwater. Air pollution may be caused from the inefficient burning of waste. Yes, that I already explained. Industrial agent induces dangerous, dangerous hazardous waste. Yes, that is the thing. Solid waste which is coming from industry, they may contain heavy metals, and those things are very dangerous to our day to day
activities if they come in food chain and other thing. So improper disposal of solid waste, for example, from industry, it results to humans, death of humans and animals. So present practice of solid waste is not so scientific. So research is going on how to improve. So what are the problems here? Uh, See, open how solid waste is currently managed in India. Open dumps are there, and but here disease carrying vermins and rats and flies they proliferate. So open dumps means there definitely flies and rats they will sustain and they will carry diseases. Open dump is the practice nowadays. Methane gas is released into surrounding air. Some of the materials they degrade and they release methane gas into the surrounding atmosphere, and that is also not good for us. Okay, and a few things like liquid that oozes and seeps through solid waste ultimately finds into the soil, surface water and groundwater. Yes, this liquid that goes through the solid waste, that liquid may carry heavy metal ions that will go to soil, surface water and groundwater, and that it may come to our drinking water. That is very hazardous. Hazardous materials dissolve in the this liquid contaminate underground water and soil strata. Strata means layer. And solid waste is highly heterogeneous and not segregated at any stage. It includes waste from industries, hospitals, nursing home, domestic waste. So that is not homogeneous. Different kinds of waste are there. The leachate consisting of very variety of chemical constituents seeps and pollute groundwater. That I already told. Absence of landfill linears aggravate the problem. So not many place we have to uh, dump that, and that is where the problem lies. In Delhi and other cities, how they are managing, it's just unimaginable. And health hazards faced by residents living in nearby areas of dumping, that cannot be ignored. Yes, that is also a problem. Serious health problem can occur people who are residing near this dumping of that solid waste. The present practice of collecting solid waste from individual house results in wastage of time and cost of collection, but we need to find a mechanism to do it. Like in Kokrajhar they are doing, and it is not so bad, still working nicely, that solid management. Transportation of collected solid waste openly by tractors or trucks, that is what it is done. You have seen municipality they do like that. That is completely unhygienic, and aesthetic look of the city is also affected. So that is also done. So you will see that in this book there are certain problems. It is written nicely, but some cases the words are a bit difficult. So what I suggest is that you make your points from this, a few points you make, and it is difficult to memorize from this book. Don't memorize, try to use your analytical and rational reasoning, because here language is a bit complex. This book has certain drawbacks. We should not criticize too much, but it has drawback. And with this you are reading, then we should make points, and some points you write down by yourself, and you will be able to succeed very nicely. Okay then, sir, it's exactly 7:35. So if any questions are there, I will stop sharing. Any questions?
Yes, dear students, if you have some more questions, we can attend to your questions. As your sir told you regarding the book, yes, I all personally feel that this book is, difficult because it is not so student friendly. And most of the words, most of the matter, it seems to be of repetition. So you
Yes.
can, consult the topics, and you can also consult other reference books which is available in the market.
Yes.
Okay, right now I will not be able to suggest you some books, but there are some books which we can refer from the NCERT book.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I think it's available in the website, or if possible, we will be putting up this in the college website. We have one soft copy of that. We can also share this if it is possible, or if we can have a we can ask the technical persons so that they can also share the matter with you. Okay. Anyway, this okay, syllabus for pre-final, it's pre-final means it includes all the syllabus. Okay, but you need not to worry. We will be putting up some questions which are very relevant questions, and which is very very common in the whenever we work, okay, in the surrounding.
Invented
Okay, so it
education.
will be related to that. And the main thing that the technical part, almost I have touched all the technical parts, like the ecosystem, that is very hard to understand, because there are some scientific ways for understanding that concept. So we have dealt with ecosystem. We have also discussed regarding what is environment, what are these factors, what are components, and we have also seen how we can you know see the functioning of the ecosystem, all the aspects we have studied. And if anything that you have not understood, you can personally meet me in my department, or I have put my number in all my notice, so that in that number you can also communicate with me. Okay. So the syllabus for the pre-final, it will include all the syllabus. Okay, it will include all the syllabus, but it was a very short time declaration by the councils that we have to have pre-final examinations. But we will try to incorporate what we have discussed, and we will be having daily class till 13th of December, and after that we will stop for some time, and after the exam is over we will continue with rest of the topics. So that's all for what I can tell you regarding the syllabus for pre-final examination.
Oh yes, whatever is taught till
Yeah,
now, also,
yeah,
yes, that is
yeah. All,
included.
all all syllabus is included, but
Mm.
we will put more questions from whatever is covered. Okay, whatever is covered.
Mm.
But you will expect questions from the whole syllabus. Okay.
Oh, yes, now they have written. Okay, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So it's a very, it was a very interesting lecture on solid waste and pollutions, and regarding sound pollution also, because we have been acquainted with all these things every day, but technically speaking, when somebody tells you regarding the sound pollution, then only we feel like, yes, we are very noisy people, right? Dear students, do you agree with me? Because we don't care who is around us, we just speak very loud, and we sometimes cross the decibel, 60 decibel, which is a normal conversation. We don't require more than 60 decibel, but which shouts up to 80 to 90 and 100. It's sometimes 100. But if you speak in 60 decibel, it is not disturbing others. But sometimes, we forget and we reach up to 80, 100 decibels and disturbing others. So I think today's lecture have given you a little bit of knowledge regarding what is sound pollution and how the sound can be measured. It is measured in decibel. The intensity of sound is measured in decibel. You can also have some apps in your mobile phone to measure your sound intensity. It's a very interesting, exercise. You'll have some apps how to measure. You can just type in your Play Store regarding this device, I mean app, that is sound meter. Okay, sound meter. Then you can install that and you can use that. So that microphone of your mobile phone will sense the sound and give you how much sound you are producing or any other source is producing. So
Yes.
I think no more questions. Any questions from your side, your students? We are ready to answer you. And I think this is a kind of a co-teaching, because Leeladhar sir and me here in your class jointly organizing the whole session, and it is good when more than one teachers join a class, then it becomes very convenient, right? So if we have a chance to interact with you someday physically, we will also try to do that also. I was trying to find some rooms in your routine, and if I can, find some rooms, we will definitely meet you physically. We will interact with you physically so that we can understand each other to understand the environment in total. So thanks a lot for attending the class. This is a nice session, and the students number today has gone to 54, including us, both of us.
Yes.
It was a nice sign because last class we had a few students. I think in the following class we will have more students who are joining. The timing is a little bit, late, but we cannot help it out because it's an online session. So we cannot give you the, the normal time because we are busy with some of the, classes with other departments. So thank you, Leeladhar, once again for joining the class. Tomorrow we will meet again.
Thank you, sir.
So thanks a lot to all of you. Thank
you, sir.
you. Good night.
Good night.